What's up, everybody? This is Domingo Hero Network, and today's Yu-Gi-Oh video I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to be doing a deck profile, and the deck profile I'm going to be doing is my Nordics deck profile. So I'm going to do Nordics, and I got to tell you, I love Nordics, one of my favorite decks ever since the Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds area, when 3 members of Team, I think it's called Team Ragnarok, who owns these, the A-tier Synchro monsters, which is Odin, Thorn, and Loki. So I'm gonna do my Nordic deck profile. I'm gonna show you guys the main deck and extra deck, and the cards I play of my choices that I play in this deck and ratio. So without further ado, let's get this deck profile started. So here we go. We're gonna start off with the main deck, and the first thing we're gonna start off in the main deck is, of course, the monsters. I play 3 copies of Nordic Beast Gillen Burstry, 3 copies of the Gil faction of the Nordic Beasts, 2 copies of Mara of the Nordic Alpha, 1 copy of Venius of the Nordic Assailant, and 1 copy of Valkyrie of the Nordic Assailant. So these are the Nordic tuner monsters that I play. So it's pretty cool. So the Gillen Bursity is a pretty good card. It's a card you always gotta play at street, because this card does you can substitute this card for any Nordic tuners for synchro summoning. And it also has another effect that says if this card is normal special summon, you can special summon 1 Nordic monster from your hand. You could target 1 Nordic monster in your graveyard, and except for itself, and then add it to your hand. So that's pretty cool. So it gives you like a first turn synchro plays or a link plays and stuff like that. Mostly single plays. A card you always gotta play is 3, because this card does substitute for any Nordic tuner. So that's actually pretty good. And then you also got Geldas. Sorry if I pronounced the name wrong. So Geldas, if your opponent controls a single monster, you control no monster, you special summon this card for your hand. So it's pretty good. It's a pretty good card to play at 3, as well, because it's a beast tuner, and you're gonna need to play a lot of beast tuners in this decks. Then we got the 2 copies of Mara, the Nordic Alpha. So Mara, pretty good effect. What this card does is, when using this card single material, the other single material must be 2 Nordic monsters in your hand. So that's pretty good. It's pretty good when you normal summon Mara, and then the other 2 Nordics in your hand, then you go synchro. And then you also got Venius. Venius is fine at 1, because, to be honest, the reason why I think that card is better at 1 instead of like 2 or 3 is because we got Gillen Beasters, which is a better substitute card. So yeah, it has, it's based. So Venius is a substitute as well for any Nordic tuner. I think you don't need to play more than 1 copies anymore, because ever since Burstius first came out, I think 1 Venius is all you need. And then Venius also has an effect, once per turn, send 1 Nordic monster from the graveyard, and this card's level because of the level of it. So basically change the level, and a Fool's Burial. Then you got Valkyrie of the Nordic Assailant. This card's pretty good. Of course, this card is not treated as a Valkyrie card, because there is a Valkyrie archetype, and this one does not count as a part of the Valkyrie archetype, so that's why they put it there. When this card's normal summon, if your opponent controls the monsters and you control no other cards, you can banish 2 Nordic monsters from your hand, special summon 2 Nordic tokens in defense position. It's pretty good. First turn, go for your Odin, so that's pretty cool. So these are the 2 monsters you gotta play, so they're all pretty good. Alright, for the other monsters that we play, I play the other Nordic monsters I play, excuse me. I play 3 copies of Nordic Smith and Valenti, 3 copies of the Elvis of the Nordic Alpha, 3 copies of 10 Grecian of the Nordic Beasts. If I pronounce it wrong, I do apologize. And I also play 3 copies of the 10 Gishi or the Nordic Beasts. If I pronounce the name, I apologize. But yeah, these are the other Nordic monster plays. Smith is pretty good, because if you control an A0 or a Nordic monster, special summon this card from your hand. If this card's normal special summon, you can add 1 Nordic relief card from your deck to your hand. So it's pretty good. You only use that effect once per turn. So that's pretty good. And it's also a warrior monster, so you can search this card reinforcement of the army. Then we got Elvis. Elvis is pretty good, because if only this card is banished by the effect of a Nordic Link monster, you can send to the graveyard 1 Nordic monster you control and 2 Nordic monsters from your deck whose total level is equal to 10. Then special summon 1 A-tier monster from your extra deck. If an A-tier monster in position is sent to the graveyard, you can buy an opponent's card. You can banish this card from your special summon 1 A-tier monster from your extra deck with a different name from the cards of the graveyard. You can only use this effect of the Elvis once per duel. So yeah, it's pretty good, because if you have this card and the Nordic Link monster, which is Govik, then you can do that as well. Help you go to your synchro place as well. And of course, you got the other 2 cards. Now the reason why I play these 2 beasts right here, we got Tengengerser and the Tengengerser. If I pronounce the name wrong, I apologize. It's because we do play Rescue Cat, and you can easily special some of these cards from the deck, and then you can go for like your single plays or your link plays and stuff. And of course, they're beast monsters as well, so that way you can special some of these cards with the effect of Rescue Cat. So, and yes, I do play Rescue Cat in this deck, which we'll get to. Alright, and the other Nordic monsters, just to round off the Nordics, is 2 copies of Tarzan the Nordic Champions, 2 copies of Delverg of the Nordic Alfar, and the 1 copy of the Memoir of the Nordic Assailant. So there you go. So these are the cards I play. Of course, Nordic Champions are pretty good. It has, and of course, it's a 2000 attack point beater, you know, and of course, like your opponent's monsters, you know. Your opponent's monster cannot target a Nordic monster for attacks except for Tide of the Nordic Champions. And if there's no other Nordic monster for you to destroy this card. So it's pretty good. And of course, 2,000 attack points. And it's also a warrior. You can search for reinforcement of the army. Of course, Delver is also a warrior as well. It's basically a normal summon to your Nordics. You know, after you normal summon this card, then you get that extra normal summoning during the main phase. And also has another effect, like if this face a card in the field sent to the graveyard, you can target one Nordic reflect card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So it's pretty good. And then we got Memoir. Memoir's pretty good. You know, once per turn, it starts the standby phase. If you control a Nordic monster and this card's in your graveyard, you can set 1 spell card in your graveyard, special summon this card. So that's pretty cool. I use it just more for like the Synchro materials or your link materials and stuff like that. Mostly with Synchros, especially if you want to go for your Ace tier Synchro monsters. Or other Synchros for that matter. And the last monsters that I played, just to round off the monsters, is 3 copies of Rescue Cat. Since most of my monsters are level 3 or lower Beast Warrior monsters, so it's pretty good. You know, once you send Rescue Cat to the graveyard, special summon 2 level 3 or lower Beast monsters from your deck. Their effect is negated, so they'll destroy during the end phase. And of course, you only use this effect of Rescue Cat once per turn, so it's pretty good. It helps you go for your single plays and link plays at times, so it's really good. That's it for the monsters. Now for the spells, I do play 3 copies of Nordic Relic, Hattery's Shed. Sorry if I pronounced the name wrong, but this spell card's pretty good. You know, you special summon 1 Nordic monster from your deck, but you cannot special summon a monster from the extra deck except for Ace tier monsters while that monster's on the face up on the field. You can banish this card to the graveyard and add 1 Nordic monster from your deck to your hand, shuffle 1 card from your hand to the deck, and of course you only use 1 Nordic Reflect as effect per turn, only once a turn. So it's a pretty good spell card to play. It's like, you know, help you go for your Synchro plays and link plays easily and summon out your Nordic from your decks and stuff, so it's pretty cool. Next card I play 3 copies of Hippo Carnival. The reason why we play Hippo Carnival is because there's a combo you could use with this card and your Golvik, your Nordic Link monster, because once you activate your Golvik's effect, and there's also a quick play spell as well, you activate the effect of Golvik, then you're going to chain and activate Hippo Carnival, summon 3 of your tokens, and then you're going to banish 3 to the circle, and it helps you go for your Synchro play. So that's really good. It's really good. You know, it helps you go for your single plays as well, because, you know, once you special summon the tokens, you banish them, and then you special summon the synchro materials of your Nordic monsters, and then go for your single play. So it's really good. Next, I'll play 2 copies of Twin Twisters. You know what this card does. It's just for back row removal, so it's pretty good. And for the 1-ups, to round out the spells, 1 copy Reinforcement Army, because most of our monsters are warriors, and the 1 copy Monster Board, because it's Monster Board. So these cards are pretty good. That's it for the spells. Now for the traps. And I only play 5, so 3 copies of Nordic Reflect Selvelin, I think you pronounce that, and 2 copies of the Nordic Reflect Gungnir. So Selvelin's pretty good. What this card does is a continuous trap. You know, if you control an Ace tier monster, you can negate the effect of all face-up cards your opponent currently controls until the end phase of this turn. You contribute 1 Nordic monster, and then target 1 Ace tier monster in the graveyard, special summon it. You can only use 1 Nordic monster effect per turn, only once a turn. So it's pretty good. You know, negate your opponent's monsters, and then you special summon your Ace tiers and stuff. By tributing a Nordic monster in your from your graveyard and stuff is pretty cool. And then you got Gungnir, which banish 1 Ace tier or Nordic monster you control, then target 1 card on the field, destroy. Also, during your second end phase after evacuation, return that monster you banished to activate this card to the field and face up a attack position. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Like if you banish your Ace tier stuff and then you wait until your second Ace phase and then comes back. So it's a really good. These 2 cards are pretty good as well. I like playing these cards. Alright, so that's it for the main deck. Now we're going to go to the extra deck. So first, we're going to start off with the Synchro. So I'm going to show you guys the Ace tier Synchro monsters. So we got 2 copies of Odin, Father of the Ace tier, 2 copies of Thorn, Lord of the Ace tier, and the 1 copy of Low-Key, the Ace tier. So there you go. So let's start off with Odin. So Odin, you know, it has the effect, you know, you could make this card unaffected by spells and traps once per turn to the end phase. And then you also have the effect, like during the end phase, like if this card is destroyed by an opponent's card sent to the graveyard, you could banish one Nordic Ascendant Tuner from the graveyard, special summon this card, and then when special summon this way, you could draw one card, so it's pretty good. And then you got Thorn, which is another good card. You know, has effect where once per negate all the effects of all phase sub monsters your opponent controls to the end phase of the turn, and then once per turn to the end phase, if this card you control it was destroyed by an opponent's card sent to the graveyard this turn, you could banish one Nordic Beast Tuner from the graveyard and special summon this card, and if it's summoned this way, inflict 800 damage to your opponent. So that's pretty good. And then we got Loki, which you only need one. I think one is all you need, and then the other Odin and Thor at 2 is fine. Loki is good at 1. So Loki's effect says once per turn when your opponent activates spells and trapped during the battle phase, you can negate the evacuation and destroy it. Then during the end phase, if this phase of current field was destroyed by opponent's card and sent to the graveyard, you could remove, you could banish one Nordic Alpha Tuner monster from your graveyard. Special summon this card from the graveyard, and then when it's special summon this way, you can target one track card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So that's pretty good as well. That's pretty good to play. So these are the extra. It's pretty good, you know. Two of the Odin, 2 of the Thorn, and then 1 Loki. I think that's a good ratio. Now for the other singles I play 1 copy of Thunder Unicorn, 1 copy of Voltic Bicorn, and then 1 copy of Lightning Trinicorn. I do play these cards because most of my monsters are beasts, and even the Tutor monsters are beasts as well. So these cards are pretty good. I like playing this Unicorn package because it's really good. Really helps out. So, you know, of course, Thunder Unicorn, you know, the main phase, you target a face of monster, you're probably going to lose 500 for each monster you control till the end phase. But if you activate Dynamite, the other monsters cannot attack except for Unicorn. And then you got Bicorn, Voltic Bicorn. When it's destroyed by better card effects, both players have to send the top 7 cards from the deck to the graveyard. And Lightning Trinicorn has an effect when this card is destroyed by an opponent either by battle by card effects. You know, you could target a Thunder Unicorn or Voltic Bicorn in your graveyard and special summon it. So it's like a monster ball to summon out these 2 for the graveyard. So these are pretty unique to play. I like playing these Unicorn Synchros. Now for the rest of the Synchros, we play 1 copy of Armades, Keeper Batteries. This card's pretty good. Level 5. 1 copy of Blackwell's Dragon. Of course, Armades, you know, when it's attacked, you know, your opponent cannot activate any cards of effect until the end of the damage there. Blackwell's Dragon, you know, just to destroy all cards on the field. 1 copy of Beetles of the Diabolical Dragon. Beetles is so easy to summon since there's the Mara Tuner is a dark attribute, so you can easily summon out Beetles and stuff. So, and of course, Beetles cannot be destroyed by battle card effects. Then you got 1 copy of Scrap Dragon to pop a card you control, pop a card your opponent can destroy them, so that's pretty good, once per turn effect. So that's it for the Synchros. And last but not certainly least, for links, I only played 3, and that's 3 copies of Golvik of the Nordic Assailant. So Golvik is pretty good, you know, we all know what it does, you know. If it's link summon, you can banish up to 3 cards from the hand or field, and if you do, special summon many Nordic monsters from your deck in defense position. Also, for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon monsters except for Aesir's, nor normal summon / tap any monsters. You can only use the effect of Golvik once per turn, and also while this card points to an Aesir monster, your opponent cannot target that monster with card effects. Also, your opponent monsters your opponent control cannot target this card for attack. So it's pretty good. Once you use the effect, and then if you have the Alvis, you can go for your Aesir single monster. Or if you don't have the Alvis, you can go this card and the Hippo Carnival card and summon out the 3 Hippo tokens, and then banish them and summon out your Nordic monsters with the material to go for your Aesir. And then once you go for your Aesir Synchro monster, you got to summon it to a zone that this card points to. So that way, not only that you can protect your Aesir monster from, you know, from being targeted, but also you could protect your Golvik from being targeted for the attacks by opponent. So it's pretty good. And this is a card you always got to play as 3 as well, because this card is amazing. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed my Nordic deck profile. Love this deck so much. I play this deck for fun, and it's really good based on Synchros and stuff. And Golvik is an awesome link monster for this deck. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. So don't forget to like this video, share, subscribe, post your comments in the comment section. Tell me what you think about my Nordic deck profile. That's going to be it for this video, guys. So this is Domingo Hero Network. All I can say is take care. Have a good day. Goodbye, everyone. Domingo Hero Network is signing out. Peace.